Hey pioneers, and welcome back. Today is an exciting day. Today I will be doing an interesting build. Not mass producing ingots, that's kind of boring. Today we will be working on my starter factory. As usual, when I'm starting big projects, I set up some objectives. So these are my objectives. I want to make a tall, thin, and office-like building, crafting only one material per floor. So hopefully it will end up being really tall and I'll be able to see it from anywhere in the map. Then I only will be creating small quantities of each, the ones I need for building. This factory won't be feeding any other factory at all, it's only what I need to build. And I've seen that there's a lot of people that exaggerate when crafting, but I think that if you handle well your outputs, it's not necessary to be doing 60 or 80 of any material. Let's assume you're only doing 20 iron plates, sorry. This is the best way to handle them. Those 20 are sent to an industrial storage container. And after the container, you send them to the depot uploader. So you might be only doing 20 per minute, but you won't be using them all of the time. And eventually this container will get filled up. So whenever you're taking materials, it's not that you are going to be getting 20, you will be getting the max speed of this build, well, the max speed of the depot uploader. So even though you're creating 20, you will be getting 220 a minute, so there's no need to craft a huge amount of materials. And of course, if you want everything running at full efficiency, you place a smart splitter before the container, sending the overflow to the sink. So that's going to be the idea. Then over here, this is everything I want to create on this factory. That is everything I can do with my ingots and limestone. Still no quartz crystals, no silica, and nothing related to oil. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Even automated miners. Then, whenever I get to choose, I will choose power efficiency over startup time. That this kind of hurts because I always want fast factories, but yeah, I'm struggling with power. I don't want to build another power plant until I get to the next phase. So in this case, power efficiency will always trample upon startup time. On the other hand, I will choose material efficiency over power efficiency. And what does this mean? For example, this recipe over here. It's really power efficient because with one constructor you're already doing steel beams. But the ratio is horrible. 60 steel ingots to only create 15 steel beams. You're kind of throwing your materials away. So I won't be using this recipe. I will probably be using one that is in the foundry. Over here. I'm adding concrete, I'm adding a machine that consumes more power, but I'm getting more steel beams out of the steel ingots. So I think this is the approach I will be taking. Then, all of the inputs will be in individual belts, but the output will be a huge sushi belt containing everything. All of the outputs will be handled on a different building, meaning the containers, the dimensional depot, and the sinks. I don't know how many I'm going to be placing. They won't be on this build. They will be on a little building right next to it. And finally, have fun while building. So, after having set my objectives, let's go and design a badass factory. Here we have it. It took a long time, and I designed it by floors. I think this will really help me build. But there's some stuff I wanted to talk about. Let's, for example, go to the first one that does the screws. I usually load balance everything. That was my objective. But right now we can see that it's going to be impossible on this factory. For example, I've got 111.25 iron ingots as an input, and my first floor that's doing screws only needs 6.25, and I need to take the 105 to a higher level. Now, this division, it's impossible to load balance. Or maybe it could, but we have those kinds of divisions on every single floor. So unfortunately, this is the end of the manifold free world, but still there's something I can do to make this as fast as possible. When I'm having this kind of divisions, I will be using a smart splitter, and I will always be sending everything to the path that requires the least amount of materials. So for example, in the beginning, I will be sending the 111 iron ingots to these constructors that only require 6.25, meaning 6.25, sorry, meaning it will get filled up really fast. And once this gets filled up, the overflow will go to another floor. And this is even weirder, but well, right now we can see that 0.5 constructors, this is the amount of machines I need. As I want to say power, I will be placing 4 or 8 or 16, I don't know. But the thing is that I won't be load balancing them, because this is a weird case where if I load balance these machines, the system would actually be slower. Why is that? As I will be using smart splitters to prioritize all of the materials to the one that requires the least, this will only activate once all of these internal buffers are completely filled up. And if these machines are load balanced, they will all turn up at the same time, meaning it will take longer. A manifold in this case is faster than a load balancer. And yeah, I'm not going to do a normal manifold, I'm going to do a smart manifold, meaning a manifold with smart splitters. So at the beginning, all of the iron ingots will be going to only one constructor that's doing screws. When that buffer gets completely filled up, it will go to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, until we finish all of these and we start feeding the other floors. So it will end up being faster. There's still gonna be a big startup time, especially because I want to save power and I will be placing a lot of machines. Each of these floors don't need much, 1 constructor, 3 constructors, 1 refinery. Well, this one requires 8, 0.5 assemblers, but still I will be taking them to 4 or 8. That means that we will have to wait for all of the internal buffers to fill up, and the factory will end up being quite slow. But well, I wanna save power and you can't do everything. So now let's start building. First thing first, we need to choose a place, and I think I'm doing it here over this mountain. We have a view of all of the desert, of our steel ingot factory. We are nearby the rail. I have no idea how I'm taking the materials up here, but yeah, sounds like a plan. So now let's do the logistics levels of the first floor and plop the floor and the roof of the actual first floor. So this is how it would look like. As usual, my logistics levels are 2 tiles high. And then I want to make every single floor the same height. And so as I know that I'm going to be using refineries, I plop that refinery to check the height. And that gives us 8 tiles up. So that would be 1 floor, and then we would have logistics levels, another floor, and so on. I'm still not sure, so before starting to commit time to this, I think I will just place the foundations of all of the floors and see how it looks like. And if I like it, I will commit to it. So let's plop some floors. Well, this is kind of weird. I didn't expect it to go this high. The good thing is that we have an awesome view. We can see the whole world. But on the other hand, I will be able to see this structure from the whole world. And if it looks ugly, I'll be seeing it to the end of my playthrough. So I'm not entirely sure. Oh, I completely ran out of concrete. My storage container is empty, so I had to set up a temporal factory over there. But this is just insane. Is it worth it? I don't know. It even takes time to fall to my death. Let's check out how it looks from the very end of the map. And I'm currently in the end of the desert. And there you have it. Yeah, it will be a mark of my landscape for the end of the ages, but I think I'll go for it. I never made something silly as this. So, let's hope I don't regret it in the future. So, how do you start a project of this size? Well, I say for the first floor. Here we can see what we are supposed to do. We can see that there are a lot of lines that need to go to higher levels, so let's start by doing that. Well, I will be using a lot of signs to prevent me from making stupid mistakes. These are all of our lines that will be going high, and I already did the first logic on our iron ingots. This over here would be our input of 111.25, and we get our first division. As I explained before, I will be doing this with smart splitters and always prioritizing the path that requires the least amount of materials so that we get a faster startup. So I think I haven't done it. Oh yes, to the left we will be sending any, so we will be sending everything over here and overflow to the top, to the other levels. So over here we have all of our inputs. And on the output, it's only one belt. I already placed a merger because we will have to merge the output of this floor with the output that comes from the top. And this would be our output. That it won't end like that, but I want to remember that here is the output of the factory. Now I will work on a blueprint for stairs because all of this, I was planning of connecting it with stairs on one side and with hypertubes on the other. But the hypertubes won't be going from the logistics levels, only from the main floors. So let's start by doing some stairs. Here we go. I made two. A short one that also contains designs and as much stuff as I could fit to save some time. And then a big one. Same as before, it contains the foundations, designs, and all of that stuff. So we can start doing our first floor. As we can see in the diagram, we need 0.5 constructor. That means one constructor at 50%. But we want to save power, so I will overcomplicate that. I will be placing, let's say, 5 constructors at 10% each. As I mentioned before, as we are prioritizing this floor with a smart splitter, the next one won't start until this one is completely filled up. So doing a load balancer on them would actually make the system slower. In this case, I will be using a smart manifold, that is the faster we can go. And, well, let's do that. Well, here there's a first idea. We have the 5 constructors, they are all merging to the middle. And just to make some stupid decorations, I thought of taking it to the roof and then divided it into 4 belts that go back to the logistics levels. So we would see some screws going around. But already seeing this, I don't like it. Like, most of the room is empty. I think that the roof is too high. This was meant for refineries. But I think I will be going back on my plan and maybe do most of the rooms of the height needed for the room. Maybe I can specify 2 heights, one for refineries and one for the rest. I think the tallest building I have is a manufacturer, so adjust the height somewhere over there. Because these kind of decorations, if not, look really bad. And the whole room will end up being dark. So yeah, I think I will be going back. That's stuff that happens. Anyway, it's not like doing this took so much time. All of these are blueprints, so it's just placing some blueprints. But yeah, I want to make the floors not that high, only the refinery ones, because if not it will look kind of dull. So I will be spending my time doing nonsense. This is how a floor will end up looking. I decided that I'm going to use different lights for each floor. Maybe that ends up looking cool at the end. I added some computers and some railings. And well, yeah, this is the output. Goes to the roof, gets divided into 4 and goes to the logistics level. 5 constructors, each one working at 10%. Now, if you don't know what a smart manifold is this over here. We are having our 6.25 iron ingots going this way, but at the beginning we will be sending 111 through this belt. And once it reaches this manifold, these are smart splitters, meaning the 111 will be going to only one machine while the other 4 are turned off. Once this one gets filled up, it will send it to the second, so we will have 2 machines that are turned on and 3 that are turned off. By doing this, we are focusing all of the materials into one machine that will fill it up faster while keeping the rest off. So it's the same as a manifold, only setting up priorities on each one of them. And with that, you get a faster startup. That it's still going to be slow, but it's going to be faster. Well, I had decided to talk about each floor as I go through, but we've got 18 floors, and I get the feeling that the video will be extremely long and nobody will watch it, they will just skip to the end. So I won't be doing that, I will just be showing some of them, but please leave me feedback about this. Would you have preferred me going floor by floor, or do you agree that it's better just to skip some of them and show a couple of floors? Feedback is really important for me to be able to improve my content, so just let me know. Now I will be continuing with the next one is iron rods. Let's go. We continue progressing with our tower. We are currently on the 3rd floor. And what do we have of special here? As you can see on the diagram, this is the last floor where we will be having iron ingots. After that, they are dead. But we also will be having a new output that are the iron plates that are needed in next floors. So the iron plates will be replacing the line for the iron ingots. Another thing worth mentioning is that as this is the last floor that receives iron ingots, there's nobody waiting for them further up the building. This means that this floor will be load balanced, because at the end of the day we want the fastest startup we can, so we will be load balancing it, none of these belts will be saturated and all of the machines will start at the same time. Regarding the output, as you can see, I'm taking 39.5 to the next floors, and I will be taking, oh, this doesn't need to be complete, only 20.5 to the outputs. I will be doing that division with a smart splitter, sending anything up the building and the overflow to the output. Because the output will be overflow protected, so that will never balance by itself. We have to be sure that we only send over there what we want to send. And regarding numbers, we have 3 constructors and now we have to load balance, so we can't place any number we want. So I will be doing 6 constructors, they will be all working at 50%. So let's go and build it. This is the final result. Don't worry, I didn't turn the factory on. Those are decorative belts. I can't help myself. Since I learned to do that, it has to be in every factory. So we can see 6 constructors on each side. Each one of them will be working at 50%. And on the logistics levels, let's check it out. It seems a little bit scary, but it's not that bad. This is our input, 90 iron ingots, and these are load balance. It goes directly to a splitter, splitting into two splitters, that one and that one. And each one of these is splitting into three. 1, 2, and 3. The same on the other side. And here in the middle we have the outputs. These 6 mergers are the 6 outputs. And they are all connected to this merger over here. That sends them to a smart splitter, which has any going to the top levels, producing our 39.5 iron plates, and the overflow goes to this side that makes a funny loop and goes to a merger to our main output line. So that's one floor down, 16 more to go. No, 15 more to go. I'm getting closer. Floor number 4, and it's the first floor with refineries. So we can see that we need one refinery that will be working at 100%. And the input that are copper ingots will still be going to a higher floor, and we need 25 here and 120 on the top floor. That means that we will place another smart splitter and we will be prioritizing this floor. In other words, no load balancing, smart manifold. So I could place 2 refineries or 4. I don't want to place 3, basically because of the decimals. They would have to work at 33.3 periodic, and I don't know if that brings issues, but if I can avoid it, we need either 2 refineries, 4 refineries, or 5 refineries. They all give us good numbers. So I'll start by that, placing some refineries over here. Well, there isn't much room, so I couldn't get creative. But here I have 4 refineries. Now I'd like to see if I can somehow do some type of chimney over there to make it look cooler. Not the most beautiful thing in the world, but well, it works. Now let's add some lights. There we go. The roof is so high that the lights barely do any work. But well, if we check the diagram again, you will see something weird. The water is not actually coming from here, our input pipe. It's coming from the floor. From the roof. And why is that? I decided to do another silly thing, and this water will go to the very top of the building. There will be a fluid buffer, and then it will go back. I won't be having any fluid dynamics issues with all of that head lift, but well, I will need to do another line. So this is our water input, and we will do a water output on the opposite side. Nice. We got our pipe coming from the roof. And now I will be placing all of the lifts and send them to the logistics levels to see what we have to do. Down in the logistics levels, this is going to be pretty simple. These are 4 inputs and those are 4 outputs. But as usual, the first thing is to add some lights. Lights have been added, so let's for example do the outputs. With MK1 is more than enough. First we add all of the lifts. Then we add some mergers. This one's going that side. This one's going the other. Over here we place a temporary floor to add one more merger in the middle. Now we connect everything with MK1. And finally we have to merge it on these ones that are MK4. So we can do merger over here. But it doesn't have to be pointing that way. There we go, and merger over here. So now these are connected, and these ones are, oh, it's not straight. Oh, now it is. And now we have to handle the inputs. We are going to do exactly the same, but with smart splitters. And there we go. This guy over here is not doing anything, it's just to align to the top one. And this is the smart splitter that's doing the important job, sending everything to this floor and the overflow to the next ones. And then we go to a chain of smart splitters, each one of them sending everything to the machine and the overflow onwards. So now I just need to do some decoration. There we go. That's a cute logistics floor. Now let's decorate the refineries a little bit. And we are done. I had to move this stair from there because there was no more space. And I added some belts over here as usual, and I've got 2 other belts on the other side, going at different speeds so that nothing makes sense. And well, this is another floor done. I went into a little extra detail so that you guys get an idea of how I'm doing this, but now I will probably do several in a row. I don't want the video to get too long or too boring, but I'm liking how it's looking so far. Let's keep on building. Well, pioneers, I've been working for a long time, and I finished all of the floors. Now, I know, why did you skip ahead? I actually filmed myself doing a couple of those, but I realized while editing the video that it was getting too long, and that I would have to do 2 videos or maybe just cut it short, so I'm leaving some clips out. But this is the moment where I would really appreciate your feedback, and just let me know, would you have preferred a longer video or this video split into 2 or 3? I mean, we are still be going floor by floor on the next one when I showcase the factory, but I thought that it was kind of repetitive and I don't want to make boring content. But I also need feedback. Help me be a better content creator. Just let me know. Would you have enjoyed knowing more about how I do each of these floors? Just leave me a comment. So, for the time being, most of the machinery has been placed. Still, there's a lot to do. I need to connect all of the power. I need to handle all of the inputs. I need to handle all of the outputs. I need to create a control room. I need to make something cool for the roof and something cool for the base of the building. I was thinking of making something out of concrete, and so that you can barely see the grass. Oh, and I also need to place pumps because the water won't be able to reach the roof. So there's a lot of work to be done, but I will be doing those repetitive tasks off camera. Oh, what are you doing there? And next video we will be showcasing the whole factory, taking time to see floor by floor what have I done. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this weird idea. It was hard to pull off, but I'm really happy with the result for the time being. And I'll see you in the next one.